Hello, dears, and welcome to Al-Hussaini Virtual Lab, Pathology Talks, Tips, and Practical Tips. Today, we're going to share another important tip that you might encounter while reporting endometrial tumors, which is the newly described entity Mesonephric-like Adenocarcinoma of the endometrium. So this is actually a case of a 70-year-old female patient with postmenopausal bleeding. And this is a low-power magnification of an endometrial adenocarcinoma. Now, very important tip is that these glands are lined by cuboidal cells containing acidophilic secretions reminiscent of the mesonephric remnants or hyperplasia or even carcinoma that we encounter in the cervix. But remember, this is from the endometrium. Now, on high power magnification, again, the tumor cells are cuboidal, forming glands containing secretions. And then in other field or other foci, malignant cartilage was also encountered. So put together the presence of carcinoma and the heterologous cartilaginous component together would equal carcinosarcoma. But we need to subtype the carcinoma component that is present in this particular instance. So is it endometrioid, or is it serous carcinoma, or perhaps something else? So we start with immunohistochemistry. The tumor cells were completely negative with ERPR, which tends to rule out endometrioid carcinoma. P53 showed wild-type staining pattern. What do we mean by wild-type staining pattern? There is mosaic staining. Some of the tumor cell nuclei are negative, others are positive, and those which are positive, some are weak, some are stronger. Now, this appearance would mean that the P53 is normal pattern of staining. There is no mutation. It's not the abnormal pattern that we would encounter with serous carcinoma. Now, P16 sometimes is performed to support serous carcinoma. Remember that this is endometrial cancer. We're not talking about cervical carcinoma in this context. So what to do next? A couple of immunohistochemical stains, GATA3, and the tumor cells are positive. The nuclei are positive for GATA3 and CD10. CD10 is really beautifully decorating the luminal aspect of the glands, and both of those stains together in the presence of negative P53 staining and negative ERPR staining would support that this tumor is the newly described entity Mesonephric-like Adenocarcinoma of the endometrium. Now, what we did next is actually confirming the diagnosis by performing molecular testing, and the tumor showed KRAS in mutation, and the final diagnosis, because of the presence of the heterologous cartilaginous component, was rendered as carcinosarcoma, composed of mesonephric-like adenocarcinoma with heterologous cartilaginous component. Now, this type of a tumor in general is considered to be aggressive with or without the cartilaginous component. It's more close to type 2 endometrial carcinoma, similar to the serous carcinoma, to the clear cell carcinoma, for example, although the morphology perhaps would not dictate or would not really imply that this is aggressive tumor. Now, recently, we put together a group of tumors showing the mesonephric-like adenocarcinoma in the endometrium and in the ovary, some of which contain the heterologous cartilage mesenchymal component, as I showed you in my case, the heterologous cartilaginous component. I hope you find this tip useful in your daily practice. Thank you.